Mexico 2, England 3, and we've seen another World Cup classic. There was Argentina, Cape Verde just a few days ago, and then Brazil, Norway was a pretty decent game, but then Mexico, England took it to the next level. So people who slept off, people who thought, well, maybe this is too late for them to watch, you missed out on something big because this Mexico England game showed you passion for football, really. Yes, Mexico lost, but then you can talk about them winning our hearts and all that because they really played their heart out. They were having a man advantage over England, and that's one thing I will give England credit for, by the way, that they did sustain 30 minutes of pressure at Mexico against Mexico because that's no easy task. That's almost like saying going to Turkey against Galatasaray. The whole crowd, the dynamics, the fans can really turn the other players against each other, and then everything goes to bad. But it's the fact that they even got a red card, but yet they stood strong. That's the only part that gives you any confidence about England, because apart from that, it was just a Jude Bellingham masterclass, and then it was Harry Kane's converting his penalty. Apart from that, England didn't offer anything else. They offered 4 shots on target, by the way, all game, and Jude Bellingham scored 2, and then Kane's penalty was another one. So, and funny thing, Jude Bellingham is going to miss the Norway game, so which means they're missing one of their biggest goal threats after Harry Kane, of course. They're still missing I would even say, one of their best players so far in this tournament, because it's just been Harry Kane and Bellingham who've been performing, and apart from that, it's just been a poor showing from everybody else in that team. But they're through. They're through to the quarterfinals, and that is always saying something. But this Norway team will have too much for them in the next round. Why? Because we saw physically this England team, they can defend when it needs a lead that you're defending. But if you're not defending a lead, this England team don't have the potency, especially without Bellingham in the next round, to really go and kill the team. Like, Kane's the only player who's capable of doing that. And one man alone is not really enough unless it is Lionel Messi. And in this England team especially, Kane can do a lot of stuff, but then he doesn't have the players to facilitate him. Because one of the biggest drawbacks that I don't understand why Tuchel hasn't been doing it is, why not bring off Anderson for Kobbie Mainoo? Or why not bring off Declan Rice for Kobbie Mainoo? And some people are going to say it's biased because I'm a United fan, but then it's about just looking at what this England team needs. They need a ball progressor, because once the ball goes into the midfield, the transition is where the problem happens. Because now you're asking Jude Bellingham, who actually has turned out to be a better player than I thought. He is being asked to do more defensive work, because kind of drop back and get the ball and then progress the ball. But then if you already have a Kobbie Mainoo instead of one of these Declan Rice or Elliot Anderson, who are too similar of a player, you take out one of those profiles, you put in a Kobbie Mainoo. He can even drop in as a 6 if you want, because neither Declan Rice nor Elliot Anderson can really drop in as a 6. But then if you can drop in as a 6, now you give license to the 8 to roam forward, and then Bellingham can really focus on doing what a number 10 does. And maybe this is the angle where Mainoo comes in, maybe in the next game, and then suddenly England show more of a professional performance. Especially against Norway team, who, like we saw earlier today, they're technical, they're strong, and they can bully you if you don't have technical ability. And in that midfield, you need some real control, because England's losing control. On the wings, Gordon was surprisingly decent, but we're talking about not anything crazy. Exactly what Gordon does. Run down the line, hope for something good. And, well, that hoping for something good really got them something. And Jude Bellingham converted 2 chances. Apart from that, it was all about Mexico really piling on pressure. When we say piling on pressure, this was intense, guys. We're talking about something like, we've not seen this level of performance from one team against another team, because England were pinned back. They did not have a single chance. But what let Mexico down was purely service. Because when it went down to the wings, the ball was either disappointing or it kept hitting the first man, and it never got to the strikers, Raul Jimenez especially. And one thing I will say though is that while the strikers weren't getting service, they were moving the ball very fast, moving it well. But then when it always got to the width, that was when they struggled, because they did have overlapping fullbacks. But then when you have overlapping fullbacks, you need fullbacks who can put in a cross. And unfortunately, Mexico did not have that, which is what let them down. But Quinones, again, scored 4 goals at this World Cup. And every time his given goals were perfect, near perfect, you could say, because every given goal, and he's already finding space in behind that England defense. And it not happened not once, not twice, almost 4 times throughout this entire game. And England just could not keep up with him. And then he got subbed off. And then you saw the momentum shift. Momentum really fell almost because now they don't have or carry the threat that they used to have with Quinones on the left. And there's a lot of players in this Mexico team that really have a future. Like Gilberto Mora is another one, very technically decent player. He's 18, I think. And he will be on a move to one of the bigger European sides, but it's just a matter of when. And apart from that, Mexico really showed well in a home World Cup for them. They went all the way from the first game all the way to this game, having not even conceded a single goal, having won every single game, and now show, okay, they lost to England. Then again, just like Congo lost to England, both of these teams put in very good performances. But ultimately, it's just individual brilliance that got England through. And this is the reason why, well, England could reach far. But now you've lost one of your main goal threats in Bellingham. So now, how do you cope? Especially against an actually potent side, a side I already called would probably reach the World Cup final. And yeah, that's Haaland and Norway for you guys next. Do England make it far? I don't think so. I think their run ends in the quarterfinals against Norway. So what do you guys think about this game? What do you think about Mexico's performance? What do you guys think about England's performance? Comment that all down below and I will see you in the next one.